The second test between India and South Africa was the shortest one ever. Now this is good news for those complaining that test matches are dinosaurs in the era of T20 matches. But that's not so good news for red ball cricketers. So are test matches past their glory days? Joining me to discuss this are veteran sports journalist Vijay Lokapally, Chandra, Shekhar, Luthra, and my colleague Abhishek, Kumar. Gentlemen, welcome to the News9 Plus Show. Vijay, I want to start by asking you, we've seen the shortest test match in history in Cape Town. Was it a function of just a bad pitch or the inability of batsmen on both sides to apply themselves, or is it just the T20 effect?
I think it's an interesting combination of the pitch, which has come under criticism,
right,
and sign of modern times and sign of things to come, because the influence of T20 is very much evident. You can see the kind of shots they play to get out,
right,
and the fact that they are not able to stay on the pitch is also a reflection on their ability to adjust, absorb the challenges that come from the bowler, the condition, and obviously here the pitch was a substandard one, and Rohit Sharma has rightly raised the point.
right.
If it was happening in, say, in India or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, there would have been such a hue and cry.
Right.
But here, I'm surprised. In fact, if you ask me, Cape Town should be banned for
Okay.
a couple of games. This is no way you encourage Test cricket.
Right.
As it is, administrators are struggling to keep
Right.
the format live. You don't get spectators. Even if you
Yes.
keep the gate open, they don't want to turn up and come and watch Test cricket. Nobody has that time. But
Absolutely,
it is huge challenge for all the administrators around the world. And
Yeah.
at some point, you will see that it's going to be a big task organizing Test cricket. Look
Right.
at how South
Yeah.
Africa is treating tour to New Zealand. Look at
Right.
the condition of the West Indies.
Right.
In fact, they are trying to avoid playing Test cricket. So
Yeah.
these are very difficult times for all those who love the 5-day format.
Absolutely. And Chandrasekhar, I want to ask you about, certainly banning Cape Town might not be such a good idea, but we've seen a lot of, examples of test matches getting over in 2 and 3 days. I mean, there were these 2 matches in 2023, the Border Gavaskar Trophy, short matches again, test matches.
Yeah.
But, is test cricket dead outside of the big 3, India, England and Australia?
To some extent, yes, cricket is dying, and that's what the format, when Mr. Lalit Modi introduced the format in 2006, 2007, when we were talking about, we were criticizing, and Mr. Lokapally, all we know that how much cricket he has covered,
Yes.
And that was the time when we were discussing this, what will be the future of Test cricket.
Yes.
Now I can tell you Test cricket is almost dead. And
Right.
Mr. Lokapally is right, whether you ban this test
Yeah.
center or not. But we have seen much worse wickets. We have
Right.
seen that Mohali wicket, couple of years back, when the South Africa was touring us, 2016 or 15, whatever. And the ball started turning right from
Yeah.
first ball.
Right.
Ashwin was bowling the first over, and
Right,
they were,
right.
completely decimated.
Yeah.
And that time there was a lot of criticism of the pitch. Pitch was actually termed as a
Yeah.
very poor.
Right.
But the problem is, you have to understand this is not a one-day show, or this has not happened in just 1 year or 2 years.
Right, right.
This has been happening for last
Absolutely.
almost
Slow
15,
death,
16.
right?
Yes.
Since 2006.
Slow death.
Yeah.
Yes,
And-
2008, when
Right.
the first IPL happened.
Yeah.
And I remember when Australia, when Gilchrist, Hayden, they were all retiring.
Right.
Gilchrist was very clear. I remember that in Adelaide last test, he was saying that the future of Test cricket is going to be very different. It is not going to be the same as we have seen, or we
Yes.
have grown. Over last few decades.
Right. And
But yes,
yeah,
to
so
some
Abhishek,
extent,
yeah. Sorry, please
you
go
are
ahead.
only getting the results what you wanted.
Yeah.
These administrators, whether it was the previous one, Jagmohan Dalmia, or Sharad Pawar, or even the present one, Jai Shah and all,
Right.
they all contemplated for this kind of cricket, and now you are getting a lot of money, but
Right,
probably a less good cricket.
Right, a lot of money and less good cricket. Abhishek, what's the way ahead? I mean, do you think that the 3-day format could actually revive Test cricket? Because it's, I mean, after all, cricket was all about Test cricket until one days became the thing. What's the way ahead?
I think as you rightly said, 3-day I think is the way forward, because with time you'll have fans who want to watch who want to watch shorter formats, who don't have time to who don't have 5 days to watch a complete Test match. Also that among players the romance is still there. With Test cricket they still believe that Test cricket is the ultimate format, and it is because you have the most challenging conditions. You go across countries, play across conditions, and you prove yourself in those conditions, and over a period of 5 days, that's what makes you a better cricketer, obviously. And a better Test cricketer will always do better in short formats as well.
Yes.
But then you also have to cater to the fans. The fans, if they don't have time, if they are not liking the longer formats, then you have to cater to them, because the money ultimately nowadays is coming from the shorter formats. You see the way the T10 leagues have come up. T20 is growing. You have a league in South Africa. You have a league in the UAE. You have a league in the US, which has started.
And which makes one wonder how much cricket can a cricketer actually play in a year.
And you have these IPL franchises investing across leagues as well. So they strongly believe that the future is T20 cricket and future is the shortest format. Now it's a challenge for the administrators and the ICC to revive Test cricket, and I think the way forward is a 3-day format.
Mr. Lokapally, I want to ask you this this point about 3-day format, as Abhishek was saying, that it's all about the money really, and the consumers are only coming to the short form of the game. Is there a shorter format like 3 days that could actually revive Test cricket? Is that the way ahead?
I don't think that is a solution, because then tomorrow you will say 3-day also is not attracting spectators. Let us make it 2-day, or let us make it 1 day. Test cricket is very sacrosanct to the game, to the history of the sport. And I don't think Test cricket is dead, because tomorrow you look at the Ashes. How the Ashes is organized at very traditional centres. People wait for the Test match, whether it is in Australia or in England. They take pride in going and watching a Test match at these great venues. They book their tickets in advance, 1 year ahead, because the venues are known, the dates are known. So here you will have to understand that Test cricket is like, very rightly said by Abhishek, it's the ultimate form. And you go and watch a Test match at the venue, you will realize that it is absolutely as enjoyable as a T20 game. T20 it's a lot of mediocrity, which is hailed just because you get to see boundaries and sixes. But a century in a Test match or a double hundred in Test match has to be constructed. You have to be technically very good, and you look at the players who have had such a longevity in Test matches. They are all modern greats. So I will not subscribe to this idea. I'm sorry. 3-day is not the solution. You can even say 4-day, but no. Test cricket will have to be 5-day cricket.
So Chandra, Shekhar, you're not going to...
Absolutely.
It's inviolable, the 5-day format.
Or if you are not capable of staying there for at least 90 overs, which is obviously a day's cricket. Even if you say that a team should last about 90 to 120 overs. If you're not capable of handling that kind of, you don't have that kind of patience or handling that kind of attack, then obviously you don't deserve to play the Test cricket. And the problem is that all our administrators right now across the globe, Vijay sir has rightly said that England, and look at England and Australia rivalry in Ashes. They have been getting a lot of eyeballs. They have been getting money, sponsors, everything, because they are sacrificing IPL and other leagues in order to be ready for that kind of cricket, to play that that 5 days or over.
Absolutely, make space for that 5-day format.
But the problem with India, or for that matter, a lot of other cricket like in Caribbean, why West Indies is not coming to the World Cup, why they are not qualifying. The problem is that most of their attention is towards money.
Yes.
We are sacrificing the game of cricket in terms to get more and more money.
More and more money.
Why FIFA is so, they are so adamant about not, reducing the time, or why FIFA has not changed the format of football, why football is the most popular game in the world.
Right.
That is because they have kept their, sanctity about them.
They've stayed true to their origins.
And look what has happened to hockey. Hockey was so, it was such a colorful game. It was such a, good game to watch when there was dribbling and passing and everything.
Yeah.
Suddenly, these Europeans, they obviously we were getting the champions from this subcontinent,
Right.
and they all ganged up to make it a AstroTurf kind of game. And now look what has happened to them. There is no artistry there. There is no dribbling. It is like a carom board. You strike, from one side to other, and it will rebound and it will come down. You don't enjoy watching hockey.
Right.
Whether you make it 60 minutes or 4 hours, 4 quarters of the game. But the point is, hockey is dead overall. There is nobody who wants to pay money to watch hockey. So don't make cricket like that. Yes, I absolutely go with what Mr. Lokapally was saying.
So Abhishek, how do you strike this balance now? As Chandrasekhar was saying, that don't make cricket into hockey and carrom-boardification of the sport. How do you strike a balance with it, given the fact that cricket is driven a lot increasingly by money, and India actually calls the shots there? How do you drive a fine balance between this, keeping tradition and...
Sir rightly pointed out that FIFA, has maintained that rhythm, sort of, in their associations are also well run. But when you look at cricket economy, BCCI holds 80% of the revenue, the total world cricket revenue. So it's the distribution is very uneven. You have the top 3 ruling world cricket basically. You have England, Australia, and India who make the big calls, who make the big decisions when it comes to all sorts of cricket. And recently when South Africa sent an inferior squad, named an inferior squad for the New Zealand Test series. Steve Waugh was the first one to point out that Test cricket is dying. But when you look at Australia, they don't play Test cricket against the likes of Afghanistan, against the likes of Zimbabwe. Even they play very, very less Test cricket against Pakistan for that matter as well. But an India-Australia series is always attracts big numbers, big crowd. India, obviously, Australia, England, the Ashes attracts big numbers. So there has to be that self-realization as well within boards, that what are the rights, are they taking the right steps to to help Test cricket in the longer run? Because Australia, if they look within, they are not helping Test cricket being retained.
Right, interesting points there, and I'd like to thank my panelists on this very interesting turn that Test cricket has been taking. It's almost like the T20fication of Test matches, and it's of course alarming for lovers of the traditional format of the game. But thank you very much, Mr. Lokapally, Shekhar, and Abhishek for your insights into this interesting turn of events and this the trials and tribulations that Test matches are facing in this T20 arena of cricket today. Thanks for watching.
News9 Plus. Download now.